In Chinese culture, there are so many ways of making tofu. The recipe I'm going to share with you today, it's one of my all-time favorite. It's quick and simple. It may need a little bit of a handcrafting skills, or maybe I should say digging skills, but it's super tasty. It could well and truly be one of your delicacies on your dinner table or a quick time out snack. I'm going to end my introduction here. Let's dive into it. In most cases, the tofus we get from supermarkets are normally in a container like this. Make sure we drain all the water out of the container and take the tofu out. But there are different types of tofu. There's one that's really silky, white, and really soft. I don't suggest or I don't recommend to use those ones because it's so easy to break. I would suggest to get the ones that at least the top side and the bottom side a little bit thicker. It could have a little bit of silky and soft skin right in the middle. These will be the best ones because later on we're going to use the softer side to stuff some meat in. After soaking up the surface of the water, we place the tofu aside and now we're going to mix the meat. There are different meats you could use. Minced beef, minced chicken, minced pork. I like turkey, so you can choose the meat up to your preference. Now we're gonna cut some ingredients. I'm gonna finely dice the corianders and the mushrooms to mix with the minced meat. That will become our stuffed ingredient. And with the ingredients of this minced meat, my phone's storage accidentally is full that I actually did not recall what ingredients I put in. But I'm gonna quickly run it through with you. I put in 1 spoon of soy sauce, some salt and pepper, and half a spoon of cornstarch, and then half a spoon of sesame oil. So these are all in the bowl together with the minced meat. Now when we have all the mixed ingredients, mix them properly. In my previous prawn videos, you will normally see me pick up the mince and then smash it onto the bowl. Well, this is a traditional way of making the meat tastier. Texture will be more crunchier when we eat it. So here I'm going to do the same. I'm going to use a spoon to pick up the mince and then quickly drop and smash it into the bowl. It's quite fun and sometimes it could get addictive. And when the mince is done, put it aside. We're going to cut our tofu. As you can see that this piece of tofu has already had a crack down the back. So we're gonna use this line, and because we want to cut it properly, the line's kind of straight anyways. We're gonna cut it into 6 chunks. After cutting them, simply flip them 90 degrees and let the soft and white side facing upwards because we're gonna start digging holes with these tofus. Yes, you heard me right, digging holes. And this is the way how I do it. There's so many ways of doing it, but this is the way how I do it. Now use a teaspoon and hold the handle of the teaspoon. Now measure the depth of the tofu and make sure that we don't cut all the way to the end. We're going to leave some, maybe 1/4 or a quarter of a base of the tofu, and then we're going to make a square on top, and later on we can just peel the square off. I feel that this way is more accurate and it has a little bit of artistic look to it. Maybe just me. Now all the tofu has been already digged. Well, you can see that there's a holes in every single tofu. Now it's time to put the minced meat in. Traditionally, the minced meat is supposed to be a little bit higher than the surface of the tofu. But in my case, I found that the side with the minced meat on, the tofu is a little bit hard to be cooked. So I'm gonna make it as flat as possible. And actually, I'm gonna make it 2 different ways. Some tofu is gonna be a little bit higher and some tofu is gonna be flat on the surface. And later on when we put it in the fry pan, you will be able to see the difference. Okay, last preparation work. Let's make the sauce. 3 spoons of soy sauce and 1 spoon of the dark sauce, just for the color. And 1 spoon of the oyster sauce. 3 spoons of water, should be the same amount of soy sauce, and a half a spoon of the cornstarch. And then mix everything until the cornstarch dissolves into this mixture. Now let's start cooking. Drizzle with the oil and make sure when we place the tofu in, put the meat side downwards first so it can firmly attach to the tofu. Otherwise, it may fall out later. Important to use non-stick fry pan or cast iron pan. In this case, it's not gonna be easy to stick on the pan because the tofu has has water on it. Sometimes if you use a normal fry pan or a wok, sure if the tofu is ready on one side, you can just turn one around, and if you see there's a golden color on the tofu, that means it's ready to be turned around, because the color is flavor, and that's what we're looking for. And now you could probably see that what I was talking about before, if the meat should be a little bit higher than the surface of the tofu. Now, if it's flat, the surface of the tofu should be able to turn golden brown easily. But if the meat is too high, the surface of the tofu may still stay white. That means it's not cooked, which may not look that good. But what you're seeing now, this is amazing. It looks amazing. I'm sure you will taste amazing. After another 4 minutes, take the pan off the fire for about 2 to 3 minutes. Let it cool down a little bit before we pour in the sauce, because we don't want the sauce to be boiling in the fry pan as soon as we put it in. As soon as the sauce is boiled, we can turn the fire off and then let the remaining heat to keep simmering the sauce and the tofu. You may find sometimes it's difficult to get the flavor or the sauce onto the tofu. That's why I'll try to make this sauce a little bit thicker. So later on, you will actually stuck with the tofu. And when you take the bite, you will have the flavor and tofu together. Let's set the plate. Stack up the tofu like the champagne glasses in the wedding ceremony, if you've ever seen it before, or a big function ceremony. Because later on, when the sauce pour down from the top, you'll be like the champagne running from the top glass all the way down to the bottom glass. I like that feeling. It looks satisfying. When the stacking is completed, pour the sauce on top all the way down and watch the sauce drips from one to the other tofu. If this doesn't make your saliva running in your mouth, then you probably had too much food today. And at the end, top it up with spring onion and a little bit of sesame seeds. Perfect. Now let's taste it. I can't wait to taste it.